I think it's time for another experiment. But this time, we're not going to do it along the lines of like the Hokey Homebrew experiments. We're going to go way back in time, get in that time capsule, and we're going to jump back to a Sjporr experiment. And that's one where we let the gloves off. Baby. That was then, this is now. It is time. It is time. It is time to taste some beers. I think it's time for me to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Let's get to some reviews. So here's a review of my beer. The Little Face Brewing Workshop Old Ale came in at 5.25% ABV. This is just the base recipe. And as I told everybody else, I wanted everybody to review this one first so that they had a base of what the recipe would taste like before they added any of their ingredients to it. That way they'll be able to really tell the difference between the two. So I've had this one before, but we'll make it the official review off of it now. So everyone want to listen. There we go, a little bit of hiss. I don't normally do a smell out of the bottle when I crack it. But watching the guys over in the UK do theirs, that's what they've been doing. So I found it interesting. It was funny because the very first aroma that I picked up was actually yeast. And then after that you start to pick up the malts a little bit. Let's go ahead and pour it, see what it looks like. Now I did carbonate this a little on the light side, and I did that for a reason. I can go fairly aggressive with this and not worry. One of the main reasons was I did not want to have any bottle bombs shipping across the country. So the carbonation is a little on the low side. It's there, but it's a little on the low side. It is not clear, which I wouldn't expect it to be clear off of having the wheat in there. So the bubbles are streaming up to the top. Got a little tiny head. If I swirl it up, I'm able to work the head up a little bit. It does leave a little bit of lacing on the glass, so it's a little sticky. It's got a little bit of stick to it. The recipe on this, of course, is the base malt, and the hops that I used was Fuggles and Ahtitum. A-H-T, however you spell that. I like those hops. I'm becoming a fan of the Fuggles. I love the Fuggle hops. So basically what I did was to try and stay under the 45 IBUs. I came right at like 42, 41.5, something like that, 41.7, without going in and looking exactly at my recipe, just going off the top of my head. So I used the Fuggle, an ounce of Fuggle and an ounce of Ahtitum for 60 minutes, and then I did an ounce of each again at 30 minutes, and that was it. Well, we'll get into the beer here. So the nose, I'm picking up the malts. Definite pronounce there. And again, the yeast smell is carried over into the glass for me anyway. Now my sniffer is not all that good, so I really gotta work things up in order for it to really give me the aroma. A little bit of wheat there, yep. Okay, well, we're going to dive into it. Yeah. This grain bill on its own is actually a respectable beer. Is this a beer that knocks it out of the park? No, it wasn't intended to. But what it is a good, solid, drinkable beer. You pick up I can definitely pick up the malts, the wheat in there. I think the Fuggle hops give it that earthiness, and there's a touch of spice there. I don't know how It's almost like I wouldn't say ginger, but it's kind of like a ginger-ish spice. Their carbonation is making me burp. Not overly much though. Yeah, I like this beer. Now I've had a couple of these, not today, but I've had a couple of these since they've been done, and they're aging really well. I mean, the when I first had it, the sweetness is really there. It's a really nice. The aftertaste is a really nice sweetness. It kind of rolls, back to the back of your tongue and whatnot. I really enjoy the sweetness off of this beer. I think there's a lot that you can do with this. I could play around with this particular recipe, just use this base and continue on with doing all kinds of other crazy stuff. A little, maybe pomegranate in there in the secondary to add into the sweetness, or whatever. I mean, yeah. Funny thing is now, I'm not going to upload these in this manner. I'm going to upload this as my first one. However, I did have Fire Brew's chili pepper beer, and I had to drink it yesterday. So I did did a review on that and taped it or whatnot. But I can taste in that one. Interesting, doing his actually first and then going to this one. I understand that sweetness in there now. It really makes sense. The sweetness was really pronounced in his beer. It's not as pronounced in this, but it's at the same. It's real close. This one's dried out a little bit. Actually, my head's. I keep messing with it, but it's still sticking around, and it leaves a little bit of lacing on the glass. I mean, it's hanging in there. It's definitely hanging in there. So I didn't brew this beer to intend it to be something crazy. I brewed it for what it is, to be the mid-range, so that everybody has a starting point as to what their beer should be. So from here forward, folks, it should get real interesting. I cannot wait. With this as a base, I really can't wait to get into these other beers. I think they're going to be phenomenal. I mean, looking at some of the recipes and all that, I'm definitely digging it. So I'm going to do random ones from here on out. I'm just going to cut a bunch of pieces up and throw them in a hat and pull them out. Take my name out of it and Fire Brews, because those are both done. And whatever one I grab is where I'm going to go. So I'm going to give this, like I said, everybody give your beers, give my beer, give the beers a rating. And you can either give them out now during the review, whereas... I'm actually going to rate this at a straight up. I don't know. I was going to say a straight up 5, but I really enjoy this beer. I think it's an easy drinking beer, and it pretty much is. But I need to leave room, so I'm going to say it's a 5.5. I enjoy it, and I don't see that there's really anything wrong with it. The carbonation might be a little low, but it's sticking around. The lacing is there. It's a little bit sticky. So I'm leaving plenty of room for you guys to improve upon this recipe. So there you have it. I'm going to pull names out of a hat as I go. And those are going to be the beers I review at that time. And I'll post them as we go, folks. So I'm going to finish this. Yeah, that turned out nice. I would buy this. That's this one. The first beer in the U.S. 2013 Sjporr experiment is done. All right, guys. Stay tuned for more. And watch everybody else's channels, because it's going to be a lot. Cheers.